Hi everyone, so I've had some questions on how to do the mick release. So the mick release is when you let the rope go out of one hand, catch it in the other. A few things to think about when wanting to try to learn the mick release is one, the type of rope you have. So I have a beaded rope from the jump rope coach Chris, and the beaded rope is nice because it's a little bit heavier. So it's got these beads that slide around that add a little bit of weight so you can feel the rope in the air. Makes it much easier to learn the trick. You can learn it with the PVC rope as well. It's just a little bit harder because it's a bit lighter. Do not attempt this with a wire rope or a cross rope. I wouldn't advise. You could probably learn it, but it's not the best idea because those are super expensive and you might smash the handles. So anything that has a little bit of weight to it, it's going to make it easier to learn. The other thing to think about is the length of your rope. So my rope is fairly short. It goes up to probably about my belly button with the handles turned away. If I step with one foot on the middle of the rope. The shorter the rope is, the easier it's going to be to control in the air. So if you're used to jumping with a longer rope, you might want to just shorten it a little bit just to learn this trick if that's one of your goals. Ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, you want to find a rope length that works for your jumping and your mick release so you can combine the two in combinations. So the other thing to go over is the two different types of mick releases. So one is called a tissue box release, and essentially you're chucking the handle as if you're plucking a tissue out of a box. So it looks like this. And from the side, it looks like this. And I'll try and put a slow motion in here too so you can see. Whoops, I didn't catch it. Let's try that again. Okay, so that would be the tissue box mick release, which is very common for a lot of people to start to learn with. The second one is called a wrist pop, where the handle actually pops off your wrist. So it makes contact with your wrist, and then you pop it up into the air and snatch it back. So it looks like this. And from the side. Okay, so there's benefits to doing either. I advise learning both because they can both work well with different tricks and different combinations. But before all that, what we're going to get started with is just rope control. So it took me a good year to learn how to do this trick properly, and I don't advise rushing through it. The more time you can spend with your rope, just learning to control it and feeling it, the better it's going to be for you. So first thing to do would be to lay the rope out on the ground and just work on flicking it up and catching it. So that's just a little bit of eye-hand coordination, getting the feel to use this wrist that's controlling the handle up and down. So we don't want to fly it way back over there. We want to be able to control it up and down. So I would do that first, get used to practicing that. The second thing to do would be to put the rope back on the ground, and we're going to stir the pot. So if you're right-handed like I am, you're going to make a big loop with your arm clockwise. So nice big loop, and then we're going to pick up speed and rotate the rope like this. Now I'm just using my wrist. Notice how I've got one revolution. So there's so in the air, the rope is only spinning in this position. It's not doing this. And this is a very common mistake for most people to make, is to go super fast really quick and see how I've got these two spinny revolutions going on. We don't want that, okay? So the key is to start out nice and slow, big scoops, elevate, and then spin. So practice that for a good long time so you just can feel the rope in the air and feel your wrist revolving it. Once you get better at that, so once you're able to kind of control this position, then you want to think about trying to elevate that rope. So now we're bringing it to be a little bit more vertical. Not totally vertical, but a little bit more vertical so that we can keep it going and bring it to the side of our body. Okay, I'm making this look easier than it is. It's not that easy. Okay, so at first, just getting the feel of this spin. Once you're able to control it to bring it to the side of your body, you want to add a bit of pressure away from the body. So if I don't add pressure away, sort of push the rope away as I'm spinning, it's going to tangle and come flying towards me. So you're giving a little bit of energy away from your body to keep the rope at a distance. Okay, so once you get super comfortable with that, trying to avoid hitting your body on the side, okay, that's a real big accomplishment here. Then you're gonna learn how to catch it. Then the next thing would be to be able to bring the rope back to you. So from here would be learning the toss. So whether you're gonna do a tissue box release or a wrist pop, ultimately we wanna be able to get that handle to come back to us. So let's start with the tissue box. You're gonna start with the rope behind your feet. You're gonna bring it overhead and to the side of your body. So if I'm right-handed, it's coming to the left side of my body. I'm keeping my left hand out to the side a little bit. And as the rope swings behind me, that's when I launch the handle forward to get momentum to rotate the rope. So again, it'll be swing, launch, okay? So you can just practice the toss first, swing, launch. So as you launch the releasing handle, the hand that's holding on to the controlling handle then rotates to bring it back to center. So it goes like this, spin, and then we want to ultimately bring that rope back under your toes to mimic a jump. So it's called a toe catch. So again, it's 1, 2, 3. So this is what we're doing here is called a single rotation. The rope is only rotating once. Most often than not, especially with beginners, is they use the hand that lets go of the handle to try and reach to catch it. So it often looks like this, trying to reach out to catch that handle. All of the work is happening in this handle, in this hand that's holding on and controlling the rope. So we're going to completely take the catching hand out of it, and we're going to go into a toe catch without catching. So we take away the focus of catching the handle, and what I want you to try and do is catch that rope under your toes. And by doing that, that just means you bring this hand, this controlling hand, back to your pocket position. So if we do that a couple times, okay, so eventually, if we're able to control that rope under our toes, the handle will come back to our pocket on the left side. Getting there, okay? This takes a lot of practice, okay? So don't get frustrated if you don't get it right away. The most difficult part for most people is coordinating this toss and then the control of the actual mick release with the controlling hand. So as the rope swings back is when you toss this handle forward. The rope is then going to revolve behind me, and I'm going to use this controlling hand to whip it back and bring my hand back into pocket position. So we'll do it one more time. Okay. So that's tissue box release, single rotation. I'm just going to show single rotations for today. So the wrist pop release is where the handle makes contact with the wrist that's hanging onto the rope. So it'll look like this. So now we're actually bringing the preparation for the rope is slightly different. As you go into the side swing here, I'm using my left hand that's going to let go. I'm going to lay up the handle on my wrist, not on my hand. This is also very common, not on my hand or my thumb, on the wrist. Okay, and then that wrist pops the handle off. So if I can do this really slow, we can even just try from here. You can actually get some momentum with the rope here. And same sort of thing, as the rope goes behind me is when the handle is going to pop forward. So from here, I'm just going to swing some momentum and pop, and then whip back to center. Okay, so you can try that again. So we can just go back and forth a little bit, get some momentum. And then from here, we pop, whip. Try not to reach to catch. You can also break down this drill again with removing the catch completely and just trying to get that rope under your toes. Okay? So we don't even think about this catching hand, and all we think about is this hand revolving and bringing it back to pocket, okay? So all together that looks like this. Okay, and from the side. So I'll start with the drill where we're just kind of rocking back and forth. And then as that rope comes back, we pop forward, whip, catch. Okay, so again, we can pop forward, whip, catch. And that is the mick release. Again, I would say concentrate your efforts on the very beginning drills of this video. Spend lots of time just with your rope and learning how to control this. Okay, this is going to be the most important thing. So when I first started this skill, my control hand was everywhere, raising up all over the place just to get that handle back to me, which is very common. But do your best to try and keep your arm close to your body. So the more you can keep your arm close to your body, it means you're using your wrist more, and you want to be using your wrist in this skill. So good luck. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments.